So now we're moving into the planning phase of your job search. So again, we're still not launching into looking at job boards yet. We're still kind of planning and putting things together. We've got our target, right? So you're starting to narrow down what you're looking for, and now you're creating a plan and you're getting super organized with your job search. You would probably like for me to tell you exactly how many hours you should be spending on a job search. And my answer is it depends on you. Because in the planning phase of a job search, it's really important for you to figure out how you're going to allocate your time. So it really depends on what stage of the job search you are in, and then really what's going on with you and how much time you have to devote to your job search. But the point of the matter is that you really want to think about the job search as almost like a research project or a job in and of itself. And so of the time that you are going to allocate per week or per month to your job search, think about, again, this pie chart that I showed you earlier. Think about what percentage of time you're going to be devoting to these areas of the job search, right? So this is just an example for you. It's something that you could follow. I think it's a good measure of time. But thinking about that time allocation and then thinking about how you would plug it into however you organize your life, right? Most of us use a calendar system, so I use this example here. And as you can see on this example, this person has allocated their job search time in the color green. And what I really want to point out here is that this person has reserved, I'm going to do my laser pointer again, so has on Monday and Tuesday reserved an hour for the online job search, right? But the rest of this time this person is using is they are connecting with Abby, having lunch with Molly. This is pre-COVID, not having lunch, but maybe Zoom with Molly. Applications out, they are applying, they are spending some admin time over here, sending thank yous out. They have a phone call with Ross. They're attending this job search workshop, right? So how you are allocating your time should be time blocked into however you organize your life. And what you don't want to have is online job search should not be in every time block. Again, when we go back to how we're allocating the time, don't forget that you really need to have a variety of what activities you are utilizing in your job search and at what time. And the other thing I really encourage you to do is get organized with some sort of spreadsheet or maybe even a free project management tool online like Trello or something like that, where you can set some goals for yourself. So the first thing is I am using an old school Excel spreadsheet I find to be really helpful for planning your job search. The first section here is goals. And so this person, the example, they're trying to secure a position by November of this year. And their weekly goals are to do a total of 12 hours for their job search is what they think they can allocate per week. 6 hours are going to be in the hidden job market and 2 hours are going to be in the open job market. We're going to talk about both of these things in just a second. But 3 hours they're going to spend on tailoring materials, actually applying for positions, following up with people that maybe they've networked with, or following up with companies in which they've applied. And then they're going to spend 1 hour either meeting with a mentor that they have, an advisor, a career advisor, maybe attending an event such as this. And then their goal is to reach out to 10 people per week and then to at least have 1 to 2 phone calls, video, or in-person, maybe not right now for in-person meetings, but nonetheless, these are their weekly goals. These are solid weekly goals, right? And then moving into the next tab, which are targets. And we talked about targets as step 1. So that's going to really guide how you're planning. In this case, the example I'm using, this person is obviously interested in nonprofits. And so their target is by organization. But perhaps your target might be by location, or maybe it's by a certain skill set. It's up to you how you want to target things. But having that list down here is really helpful to kind of organize your search. And then organizing contacts. So we're going to talk about the significance of networking and really what that means for the job search. But you will notice that the more organized that you can get with this process, the better it will be for you to figure out who you've been talking to, their title, their company, and what platform did you connect with them on? When did you send a connection request, or when did you email them? What was the outcome of that? Maybe you set up an informational interview, which we'll talk about in just a second, or maybe you had a conversation with that person. What was the reflection of that conversation? Really important to note that so you can kind of determine, is this particular company, this foundation, is this still going to be on my target list after talking to this person? Does the values of this company also align with my values? Am I excited about this? Then initial follow-up and an additional follow-up as well. And we'll talk about those pieces here in a second. But tracking applications also really, really important in this whole process. So if you're really conducting a really robust job search, you're going to apply to a lot of different positions, and you're going to want to keep that organized. So where did you apply? When did you apply? What's the outcome of that? Did you have a first round interview? When did you submit, et cetera, et cetera. The other really important thing to note here about tracking your applications is to remember to save the job descriptions. That's really important because after a couple weeks, a company may take down a job posting because they're ready to start interviewing and starting to move forward on their job recruitment process. So what you want to do is make sure if they call you back and say, hey, we'd like to invite you for a first round interview, and you go back to that website and you can't find the job description, that's going to be really hard for you to prepare for the interview. So whatever you need to do, copy and paste, put it into a Word doc, and then save it in a file or wherever you need to save that. That's just a really good rule of thumb, and that will help you get prepared for an interview when you are invited for one. So let's pause for another action step. Here, what I would like for you to do, and this action step is to jot down some initial thoughts about your own job search plan. So what I want you to think about are, what tools or platforms are you going to use to get organized? This is personal to you and however you organize things, so take a minute or two to think about that. And the next piece to start thinking about is, do you have any target companies or organizations that you could start adding to your list or your spreadsheet or your tool, whatever you're using? Can you start adding now? So let's take about 1 or 2 minutes for you to start thinking about how you are actually going to organize your job search plan. We're going to keep moving here. Again, hopefully this is just to kind of get you going with this action step. My hope is that you will take some time after this workshop to really think this through a little bit more about how you're going to get super organized with your job search. And I promise you, if you get super organized, it's going to make things really easy for you in terms of executing and actually applying for positions.